Okay, ready to dive into some seriously next-level AI.
Let's do it.
You hear AI everywhere these days, but this is different.
Definitely different.
We're talking Grok 3. This AI can code, it can do math, it can even write, like, better than some people.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
We found this YouTube video that breaks down what it can do, so we know it's real.
Right, this isn't just some theory, it's actually happening.
Exactly. So think about it. If Grok 3 can handle your hardest coding problem, or write an amazing marketing campaign, or even help you learn guitar faster, I mean, what does that even mean for your everyday life?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. And that's what we're going to try to figure out today.
It's going to be fascinating.
It is. So what's the first thing that jumps out at you about Grok 3?
Well, I think the thing that really sets Grok 3 apart is just how versatile it is. It's not just good at one thing. It can tackle all sorts of different challenges.
Right. That's what makes it so interesting, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a potential game changer for so many different fields.
And it's not just one specific type of field, right?
No, not it.
It can be used for so many things.
Uh-huh.
So let's break it down a little.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's start with coding.
Okay, yeah. So we're not just talking about writing simple scripts here. This thing can actually build complex software. Imagine a small startup trying to launch a new app. Grok 3 could help them prototype super fast.
Wow.
And even generate code in multiple programming languages.
So it can do all the hard work for you.
Pretty much.
That's incredible. But what about you've got these huge companies and they're dealing with all this old messy code. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the legacy code problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a nightmare for so many companies.
It is.
But that's where Grok 3's ability to analyze and manage legacy code comes in.
Oh, interesting.
It could help streamline those systems, find potential issues before they become major disasters, even suggest improvements.
It's like having, a super-powered code consultant available 24/7.
Exactly. Always there to help you out.
No more all-nighters trying to debug.
Yeah, developers would rejoice.
That's a dream come true. But, okay, coding is just one thing, right?
It's just the beginning.
What about people who aren't, tech wizards? Where does Grok 3 fit in for them?
Well, let's talk about math and science. Grok 3 can handle numbers like nobody's business. I mean, we're talking complex equations, huge data sets, the kind of stuff that would take human researchers weeks or even months to process.
So it's like a turbocharged research assistant.
Exactly.
What kind of real-world impact are we talking about? Give me an example.
Okay, think about climate scientists trying to model weather patterns and predict future trends.
Oh, wow.
Or researchers analyzing these massive data sets to understand, how diseases spread.
Right.
Grok 3 could make those processes so much faster, give us insights and solutions way quicker than we could ever get them before.
Okay, but what about something a little closer to home? Could Grok 3 help someone who's struggling with, say, their calculus homework?
Absolutely. It could provide personalized explanations, step-by-step solutions. It could make even the toughest concepts much easier to grasp.
So it's like having a tutor who knows exactly what you need help with.
Exactly. Always there to guide you.
So it's not just for tech geniuses and scientists. It can help anyone learn complex stuff.
Exactly. It's got the potential to make learning accessible to everybody.
That's amazing. Okay, but we've talked about logic and analysis and all that. But what about the creative side of things? Can Grok 3 do anything there?
Well, that's one of the things that really excites me about Grok 3. It's not just a number cruncher. It can generate text. It can translate languages. It can even help you, craft the perfect email.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
So, could it help a marketing team write better ad copy?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine a team A/B testing different versions of an ad, all generated by Grok 3. They could figure out what messaging is most effective really quickly and get the best results.
That's incredible.
Okay.
And what about, language learning? Could it help with that?
Definitely. Grok 3 can give you feedback on your pronunciation, offer translations in real time, even simulate conversations to make language learning more engaging.
Wow. So it's like having a language partner who's always available.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how this could be a game changer for education. What other possibilities are there?
Well, think about a student with dyslexia. Grok 3 could help them by converting text to speech. Or a musician could use Grok 3 to get feedback on their playing. I mean, the potential applications in education are just endless.
This is seriously impressive. Grok 3 is like a Swiss Army knife for your brain.
It really is.
But let's shift gears for a second.
Okay.
You know what they say about customer service?
Ugh, don't get me started.
Right. It's like the worst part of dealing with any company ever.
The absolute worst.
So can Grok 3 do anything about that?
Well, imagine a chatbot powered by Grock 3. It could handle all sorts of customer inquiries, solve problems, make recommendations, all in real time.
No more waiting on hold forever.
Nope. No more navigating through those confusing phone menus either.
That sounds amazing.
It could really improve customer satisfaction, and it would free up human agents to focus on the more complicated issues.
Right, right. And I bet researchers would love this thing. Imagine being able to sift through mountains of data and research papers in a flash.
Oh, absolutely. Grock 3 could be the ultimate research assistant, summarizing information from different sources, finding those key quotes, even identifying potential new avenues for research.
So we've been talking about all the amazing things Grok 3 can do.
It's pretty mind-blowing, right?
It is. But are there any, downsides or challenges, things we should be thinking about?
Well, like with any powerful technology, there are things to consider. One big one is accuracy.
What do you mean?
Well, as advanced as Grock 3 is, it's not perfect.
Mm.
AI models can make mistakes. They can sometimes give you misleading information.
So you can't just blindly trust everything it says.
Exactly. You've got to be critical, look at the output with a discerning eye. Remember, Grock 3 is a tool. And like any tool, you have to use it responsibly and thoughtfully.
That makes sense. It's not about replacing human judgment. It's about using Grok 3 to help us make better decisions.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Coding, education, research, customer service. It seems like Grok 3 has the potential to touch pretty much every aspect of our lives.
I think so, yeah. And as these technologies continue to evolve, the possibilities are just going to get bigger and bigger.
It's both exciting and a little scary, right?
Definitely.
But one thing's for sure, it's going to be fascinating to see how Grok 3 and other AI like it shape the future.
Absolutely. It's not just about, these big changes either. These AIs can really impact our daily lives in smaller ways that still make a big difference.
I love those moments where you see something in a whole new light. So what kind of impact are we talking about?
Well, it touched on personalized learning earlier.
Right.
But let's dig a little deeper.
Yeah, let's do that.
Imagine a student who they just don't do well in a traditional classroom.
Yeah.
Grok 3 could create a completely customized curriculum, totally tailored to their needs and how they learn best.
So instead of trying to make everyone fit the same mold, education becomes more individualized.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to stop with academics either.
Oh.
Think about learning a new skill, like photography or cooking.
Yeah, okay.
Grok 3 could analyze your progress, give you feedback, even recommend resources that are just right for you.
It's like having a personal coach or mentor.
Exactly. Always there to guide you.
Okay, but we've talked a lot about Grok 3's analytical abilities.
Right.
What about creativity? Can AI actually help us be more creative?
That's a question a lot of people have.
That is, yeah.
But I actually think Grok 3, it kind of challenges that whole idea that AI is just about cold, hard logic. It can actually be a really powerful tool for, sparking creativity.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. How so?
Think about a writer who's got writer's block.
Oh, yeah.
Grok 3 could help them brainstorm ideas, generate different storylines, or even, suggest different wording to make their writing better.
So it's like having a brainstorming partner who's always ready to go.
Exactly. Always there to bounce ideas off of.
That's awesome.
And it's not limited to just writing.
Right. Yep.
Musicians could use it to experiment with different melodies and harmonies. Artists could try out new visual styles. Even chefs could use it to come up with new recipes.
That's amazing. So AI isn't going to replace human creativity.
No, not at all.
It could actually enhance it.
Exactly. Give us new tools and perspectives to work with.
I love that. But, we do have to be aware of the potential risks too, right?
Yeah, of course.
We've been focusing on the good stuff, but there's always another side to the coin.
Right. Well, one concern is misuse.
Oh, right, yeah.
Someone could use Grok 3 to create fake news or deepfakes.
Right, things that could spread misinformation.
Exactly, and cause a lot of harm.
That's a scary thought.
It is. It reminds us that technology isn't inherently good or bad.
Right.
It all comes down to how we use it.
Yeah, we have the power to decide how we use it.
Exactly. So it's crucial to have these conversations about ethics in AI.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
need safeguards and guidelines to make sure these technologies are used for good.
It sounds like we need like a whole new rule book.
Pretty much. We need to think about how these AIs are developed, how they're trained, who has access to them.
Right, right. We need to be really careful.
We do. We need to make sure they're used ethically and responsibly, and that there are, like, safety measures in place.
Right. We don't want things to get out of control.
Definitely not.
So it's really important that we're having these discussions now, before these technologies get even more advanced.
Couldn't agree more. But, shifting gears for a second, one thing that really struck me about Grok 3 is its adaptability.
Right.
Like, it's not just good at one specific thing. It can learn and adapt to all sorts of different tasks.
That's what makes it so different from older AI, right?
Exactly. It's almost like a platform for general intelligence, which, totally opens up the possibilities.
So where do you see this going in the future?
Well, I think one area where we'll see a lot of progress is in how humans and computers interact.
Okay.
Like right now, we mostly use text or voice commands,
Right.
but imagine a future where we can communicate with AI in a more intuitive way.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What do you mean by more intuitive?
Think about using gestures, facial expressions, even our thoughts.
Whoa, wait, really?
It might sound like science fiction, but brain-computer interfaces are like a real thing.
So instead of typing or speaking, we could just think a command and the AI would understand.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. And as AI gets more sophisticated, those kinds of interactions, like those seamless interactions between us and machines, they could become totally normal.
That would be revolutionary.
It would. It would change everything from healthcare to entertainment.
But it's not just about control, right?
No, not at all.
What about using AI to, like, boost our own cognitive abilities?
Exactly. Think of AI as a mental prosthetic, like helping us learn faster, remember more, solve problems better.
Right, it's not about AI replacing us.
No.
It's about AI helping us become better.
Exactly. Helping us become the best versions of ourselves.
Okay, I like that. But we've talked a lot about the potential of AI,
We have.
both the good and the bad. What are some specific challenges that we need to address as this technology keeps developing?
Well, as we've discussed, bias is a big one.
Right, right.
If an AI is trained on biased data, its output is going to be biased.
And that could have really serious consequences.
It could,
Yeah.
especially in areas like hiring, lending, or even criminal justice.
Yeah, that's scary.
It is. So we need to be incredibly careful about the data used to train these AIs.
Right.
And we need to come up with, really solid ways to find and fix those biases.
So it's not just about having more data, it's about having better data.
Exactly. More representative data. And it's also about having a diverse group of people working on these technologies.
Oh yeah, that's important too.
It is. The people building AI need to reflect the diversity of, the real world.
Right, so we don't just keep perpetuating the same old biases.
Exactly. Diversity is key, both in terms of the data and the people building these systems. But, moving on.
Okay.
Another big challenge is transparency.
Ah,
As AI gets more complex, it's getting harder to understand how it works, like why it makes the decisions it makes.
so it's like a black box. We put in data, we get out results, but we don't really know what happens in between.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And that lack of transparency, it can be a real problem.
Right, especially when the stakes are high.
Exactly. Like in healthcare or finance.
Yeah, if you don't know how an AI reached a decision, how can you trust it?
Exactly. So there's a big push right now for something called explainable AI, which is all about making these systems more transparent, easier to understand.
So AI needs to be accountable.
It does. But there's another concern that comes up a lot: job displacement.
Right, yeah. Are robots going to take all our jobs?
That's the big question.
It is, yeah. It's definitely a scary thought for a lot of people.
It is. But I think it's important to remember that, throughout history, new technologies have always led to some jobs being lost,
Right.
but they've also created new jobs.
So it's not just like a simple equation.
No, it's more complicated than that. I think it's more likely that AI will change how we work rather than just eliminate jobs altogether.
So instead of replacing humans, AI will work with us.
Exactly. And create new opportunities that need new skills.
So we need to be adaptable, learn new things.
Exactly. The key is to focus on developing skills that are uniquely human.
Like what?
Things like creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence.
Right. Those are things that AI probably won't be able to replicate anytime soon.
Exactly. And those are the skills that will be most valuable in a future where AI is everywhere.
So it sounds like the key is to be a lifelong learner.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Be adaptable, be willing to learn new skills, and maybe even team up with a friendly AI assistant along the way.
Well said.
Yeah.
But it's also about like having these open and honest conversations,
Absolutely.
addressing the challenges and working together to make sure AI is used for good.
Couldn't agree more.
Because the future of AI, it's not something that just happens to us.
Right.
We get to create it.
We do.
And with tools like Grock 3, the possibilities are really limitless.
Right. They really are. It's an exciting time to be alive.
All right, so we've talked about the potential of Grock 3 and the challenges and like what we need to do to like stay ahead of the curve. But now I kind of want to get philosophical for a sec.
Okay, I'm game.
So we've been talking about AI, like enhancing human intelligence, but it also kind of makes you think like, what does it even mean to be human? You know, in a world where machines are becoming so smart.
It's a question that's been around forever, in philosophy and science fiction.
Yeah, totally.
But now it feels a lot more real.
It does, right? Like it's not just theoretical anymore.
Right.
So if a machine can like write a poem or compose a symphony or even solve scientific problems better than we can, where does that leave us? Like what makes us special? What makes us human?
Well, I think it's important to remember that intelligence isn't just one thing. There are different kinds of intelligence.
Right.
And even if AI is better at us at some things, humans still have strengths that are hard to replicate.
Okay, so like give me some reasons to be optimistic about the future of humanity.
Well, first of all, humans are incredibly adaptable.
That's true.
Like we've evolved to survive in a changing world,
Yeah.
and we're always learning and growing and finding ways to overcome challenges.
Right. We've been through a lot and we're still here.
Exactly. And we're also amazingly creative.
We are.
Like we can imagine things that don't even exist.
Yeah.
Come up with new ideas and find totally new solutions to problems.
And it's the ultimate innovators.
Exactly. And then there's our emotional intelligence,
Okay.
That capacity for empathy and compassion and connection.
Right.
That's something AI can't really replicate.
Yeah, like even the most advanced AI, it can't understand what it's like to feel joy or grief or love or loss.
Exactly. Those emotions, our experiences, our relationships, all of that is part of what makes us human. AI might be able to copy some behaviors, but it can't really understand, the complexity of human consciousness.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. So maybe it's not about like competing with AI, but finding ways to coexist and collaborate.
Yeah, I think that's the key. AI can be a really powerful tool to help us solve some of the world's biggest problems.
Totally.
Think about climate change, poverty, disease, like those are huge challenges, and AI could help us tackle them.
It's like having a superpower on our side.
Exactly. And AI can also help us be even more creative, push the boundaries of art, music, literature.
It's not about humans versus AI.
Right.
It's about humans and AI working together.
Exactly, to create something amazing.
I like that it's a much more hopeful vision of the future, but there's one question that's still bugging me. What about consciousness? Could AI ever become conscious like we are?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
And honestly, we just don't know yet. We're still trying to figure out what consciousness even is, how it works, and if it's something that can be replicated in a machine.
So even with all our progress in AI, it's still a mystery.
It is, but it's a fascinating one, and scientists are working on it.
But what if we do figure it out? What if we create an AI that's truly self-aware with its own thoughts and feelings?
Whoa, then we have a whole new set of ethical questions.
Right, like would a conscious AI have the same rights as humans? Would we have to treat it with respect?
Exactly. Those are big questions, and it feels like we're entering uncharted territory, both technologically and ethically.
We are, and that's why it's so important to talk about it now before it's too late.
Absolutely. We need to think carefully about what it means to create truly intelligent machines.
Because once we open that door, there's no going back.
Right. We need to be careful, but also, be open to the possibilities.
It's a balancing act, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's also pretty exciting to think that we could be on the verge of something totally revolutionary.
It is. It's a really exciting time.
But it's also a reminder that with great power comes great responsibility.
Couldn't agree more.
We need to approach this with wisdom, humility, and purpose.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, the future of AI isn't just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about humanity. It's about who we are and who we want to be and what kind of world we want to create.
Well said. I think that's a perfect way to wrap things up.
I agree. So, to everyone listening out there, the future of AI is in our hands. Let's make it a future we can all be proud of.
This is DigitView.